And welcome back to another edition of the 920 podcast, a special fall edition of the show. It's been a while since Bill and I have talked to you guys, but we wanted to bring in a special treat along the way, especially considering, we got a lot of festivities going on this week. It's Florida week in terms of what's going on the gridiron, but man, Tony V and the boys are ramping up for fall baseball. They're going to take somewhat of a fall tour this month as they take their talents across the state. But they've got some practices, some scrimmages going on. Wanted to catch up with a national championship today on Tony V's birthday, by the way, which I'll add as we record on this fine Wednesday. I'm Logan Quinton alongside my throwing partner, Bill Monnett, and we've got national champion Nate Snead to join us. Welcome back to the show, Nate.
Thank you. Good to be here.
It's good to have you, man. Just take us through what it's been like going through this. I mentioned the tour you guys are about to march across the state in terms of fall baseball, but man, it's been like a world tour, if you will, ever since you guys brought home the hardware from Omaha. I mean, you had everything from the parade here in Knoxville, and then so much along the way. It's so many of you guys went back to your hometowns and got awarded and celebrated in so many ways. And then even recently with the Morgan Wallen concert, you guys were a part of that. Like, what's it been like? Is it still pretty surreal to you seeing that you're a few months removed?
Yeah, no, I mean, every day you kind of think about it, knowing that it happened and we won, and it's still cool to look back on it for sure. But I think a lot of us, because there's not a lot of returning guys, so that the vibe in the clubhouse is a lot different with a lot of guys who weren't a part of that. So it's kind of sometimes we'll move down from it. Sometimes we'll crack jokes about it. Sometimes we'll just mess with the new guys a little bit or something like that. But I kind of in the past, to be honest, it's one thing like it happened. It's awesome that it happened. And I mean, it's really the festivities really aren't done until we get our rings. And I know we're going out on the field for a Bama game. So I think like once we get our rings and that happens, it'll be about wrapping up with like the whole celebrating the national championship for the team, I guess, and kind of moving on to 2025. So, but yeah, I mean, it was absolutely unreal. I mean, ever since we won it, I mean, I still get texts. I mean, I still get random people texting me saying congrats, and it was so cool to watch and just a whole bunch of stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, we kind of just moving forward and I look forward to another season.
So, Nate, have you seen the workups on the rings yet? Are you going gaudy, or are you going to stay basic on those?
No, we actually do not know.
Really?
We know some of the team is going to get 2 rings for the SEC championship and the national championship. We have not seen any mock-ups. We've never seen a picture. Even if you go deep into Twitter, Google, you can't see anything. So, I mean, we're just a couple weeks away from it, so I guess I can hold on a little bit longer. But I'm really excited to see it.
All right, so I got to ask you something. Okay, you were honored in your hometown of Milwaukee. Yeah, you threw out the first pitch for the Brewers game. Not your best pitch. Have you ever thrown off that mound before?
I have not thrown off that mound. That was the first time I had been on that mound. They do this thing like every Sunday, at least growing up. I don't know if they do it anymore, where like kids can run the bases. I did that a couple times, but I had never stepped on that mound. I have never like played there or anything like that. So, but yeah, it wasn't my best pitch. If it's going to be an excuse, I hadn't thrown a ball in 3 weeks. So I came home from Team USA and put the glove in the drawer and kind of enjoyed summer for a little bit. I mean, I threw so much during the season. I really didn't want to throw. I was kind of hanging.
As well you should have. You know, that wasn't the worst first pitch we've ever seen in Major League Baseball. If you'll go to YouTube and Google Dr. Fauci and watch that pitch,
yep.
Yours was nowhere near that bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
in all seriousness, yeah. So we had this debacle, going back to May here at Fan Run Radio. One of the host of the morning show, John Reed, got to throw out first pitch for the Smokies. And same thing, man. But he got way over the top and yanked that thing. Wasn't near as bad. It was more of a Fauci-like throw. And I just wanted to ask, like, what's what kind of ball did they give you? Because John came up to me, handed me the ball afterwards, and he's like, "Man, look at this thing. What am I supposed to do?" And it was a fatty. It was like what you would get from Walmart or something like that. Like,
Really?
what kind of ball did they give you?
Yeah, they gave me a whole MLB ball.
Authenticate, yeah, like so.
Yeah.
The real deal. The real deal. Okay, I'm sure
Well,
John would want me to ask you because he was sort of protesting that he should have gotten something a little better to throw with. But nonetheless, it was great to see, so many of you guys, and you even got to, do some stuff back in your hometown more than just like the first pitch. You sort of did a little bit of a media blitz type of thing, as I would call it. And just being able to take that back to your hometown, and you joined us last season and talked about how you actually kind of grew up a Tennessee baseball fan, like at least in your high school career. It wasn't like you hooked your wagon to them late in the game. Like you saw Tony
Right.
V from afar and
Yeah.
grew an affinity for this program. So to be able to bring back the hardware and take back to your hometown, what it means to be a national champion. How special was that?
Yeah, it's actually unreal. I mean, like having a national championship is actually crazy, and then being the first in school history to do it, and like all the other stuff that came with it, like first time since '99 or whatever it was, since 1-1 went the whole way, and having 60 wins and winning the SEC championship, SEC regular season, then the national championship, and just kind of all that. I mean, it's really there's such a bigger picture that some people really don't understand, but it's definitely cool. Like, I mean, like this hat. I mean, I'm wearing it today because I went to the children's hospital, but just like having little stuff like that, it's actually crazy. And I know I had a lot of support back home, a lot of people watching, and it's really cool to see how much people really cared and how much people showed out, especially like when we did the parade when we came back. I mean, there had to have been 150,000 people there. I mean, it was actually unreal.
It was.
So there's just so much like on the outside that people like really don't see, which is just the awesome part of it. Is just kind of like, oh shoot, this was their 60th win, and you didn't even realize it. You're just so caught up in the game. And I mean, postseason we lost like 3 games, one in Omaha, one in Super Regional, and one in Hoover. So it's like, I mean, thinking about that is crazy, and that's like 17 games alone. So it's just, I mean, all the little stuff just adds up. I mean, that's how I was growing up, is just the little stuff mattered a lot more than the bigger stuff. Yeah, the national championship's cool, but how'd you get there? I mean, me myself throwing 75 innings out of the bullpen is kind of crazy, and coming in those leverage situations, and everything is just so much different that people just sometimes don't understand.
Yeah, you touched on it there with all the innings. 10 wins and with 1 game start. I don't know, like you said, out of the bullpen, whatever. Like, I'm not sure the last time that's happened, especially for a player first year in the SEC. But what was it like for you mentally going into each weekend? Because I feel like people look at these stats on the surface and, oh yeah, he worked in nicely and was comfortable in first year in the SEC. But to be able to go into each weekend, particularly the SEC weekends, not knowing quite your usage, like you could go once, twice, like everything was correlated on game flow starting from game 1 on the weekend. So like, what did you do to prepare yourself to get to that point to where the outcome was winning 10 games, which was tied for second in the SEC behind your teammate, AJ Kazi?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember. I don't remember when we talked last. I don't remember the last time we did this. I don't remember if it was before season or kind of at the beginning of it. But, I mean, going through from game 1 I pitched in Baylor, going out there and throwing 4 or 5 innings. I think it was 4 innings. Like I from Wichita being a closer, being maybe a 2-inning guy, and then going out there for 4 innings on my first game, I was just kind of like, I did like a double take, or I kind of like after that game, I kind of sat down with V and was like, I've never thrown that much in 3 years. I don't care that I did. I'm happy I'm pitching, but is like I was just seeing if that was going to be kind of my role. He's like, yeah, I mean, we're going to kind of use you in those high leverage situations, and if you need to burn innings, like I know when we got towards SEC play and like bigger opponents like Kentucky or like Vanderbilt and all them coming in, like knowing if you were closing down Friday, you were probably closing Sunday too, just to get the inning in. Because if you're closing Friday, you're only pitching one inning if you're coming in for that one, so you can have another inning on Sunday. So that's kind of how we did it. And if I didn't pitch at all Friday or Saturday, I knew I was going to go long after Xander on Sunday. And then when Xander was kind of going those longer innings after Georgia, I mean, when he had like 10 Ks against Georgia on that Sunday after like 7, I mean, that was ridiculous. I mean, after that, I mean, I was kind of throwing Friday, Sunday, sometimes Saturday, Sunday, sometimes only Sunday. But there wasn't a weekend where I didn't throw. I mean, there was always a weekend like I had an opportunity to go out there, even if it was to burn. Like, I mean, game 2 of Georgia, we were up a ton, and I came out and like that was probably my least high leverage situation because I think we're up by 6 or 7 or something like that when I came in. But still getting the pitch. I mean, coach always wanted me out there to get my innings in, just kind of stay in the groove. And that was kind of the way we looked at it through the postseason. And then when we got to Hoover, Hoover was like Tuesday to Sunday, and we had played every day in Hoover. So it was like all of our starting guys weren't available till the weekend. So we kind of had to throw some guys who really haven't gotten many starts in those other days. And then I got to start game 1 against Vanderbilt, which I mean wasn't my best game, but getting to go out there and throw against them for that 3rd time during the season, I mean, it was a really cool opportunity to start, especially in Hoover, game 1. So that ended up going in to close Mississippi State, and then that was it. I think that was the only games I pitched in Hoover. So that was a really fun experience. And then, I mean, the regional, super regionals was kind of back to where the season was. We're going to put you in when we need you, and you're going to go out there and throw. And then when we got to Omaha, I really didn't know what to expect, because it was kind of like if you win game 1, you get the next day off, and then you play the day after that. So it was like we kept winning until we lost game 1 against Texas A&M. So it was kind of just being ready for that next game. I mean, we always had that day in between, and coach would always ask me, he's like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "I had a day rest, so I'm gonna go out there and throw." So I mean, my velo was a little bit down because I had thrown so much during the season already, and having that big break and everything like that. And I mean, a day in between throwing like isn't awful, but I mean, after throwing so much during the season, I mean, the loss against Texas A&M was the only game I didn't throw in Omaha. So I threw in 5 out of 6 games. I mean, it was just a fun experience. I mean, I was just happy to get out there and throw and just getting the guys back in the dugout to go score some more runs.
You mentioned to your Team USA experience. You didn't have much time off. To talk about how all that happened is, we heard a lot of names with potential with the Team USA. You weren't one of the first we heard. So, but when you did get added to the team, talk about how that all happened, and talk about your experience with Team USA.
Yeah, so I want to say I got invited, or I got the actual call from Coach V. I think it was after Hoover. I think it was that I got invited, and we'll kind of play out the rest of the season, seeing what we want to do with that. And then got through the rest of the season. They really weren't sure if I wanted to go, because I had thrown so much in Omaha alone. And then having, 70 innings before that, like if it would have been smart to go throw another few innings. But luckily I told them I wanted to go for the experience and be part of Team USA and everything like that. So I got to go, and I got to close out game 7 against the Chinese Taipei. I got to throw 1 inning in Team USA, and I was so happy about it. I mean, 1 inning was all I needed. I just wanted to throw one time. Just getting out there to represent USA like that was super cool, and hang out with a bunch of guys that were enemies during the season. Like, I mean, one guy that I became close with was Jamie Arnold from Florida State, Alton Davis from Bama. Now he's at Georgia.
Yep.
Just a whole bunch of guys from some that I had known. I mean, I played with Dean. Dean was there with me, and then a bunch of guys that we we had played against, and it was fun to see him again. So, yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. You took the answer from me right there. I was gonna ask because it's always interesting to me when a showcase gets together like that. As a fan, you here in the Southeast, you can take a drive to Cary or Greensboro, and you get to see a collection of talent. I'll mention Danny Dickinson. You don't get to see him here in the South. I mean, now we will going forward in LSU,
Right.
but you get to see talent that you don't normally get to see. So I'm always interested in the player side of it and who they connect with and who they can draw from. And you mentioned right there, Jamie Arnold. That's, I'll tell you, Nate, you probably know this, not the first time that name's come up in terms of you guys, your teammates, talking about the studs on the other side that they had to face along the way to come home with the hardware.
Yeah, I mean, those guys at Team USA, I mean, they're the best of the best. I mean, we're playing with, I mean, besides high schoolers, I mean, those are all possible first round guys in that locker room. I mean, looking around and seeing RJ Austin from Vanderbilt or Nolan Schubert from OSU and Gabe Davis. I had kind of a pass with Gabe a little bit, not much, just kind of crossed paths a couple times. And then kind of friends of friends. I mean, being at Wichita, I mean, almost that whole team transferred out.
Yeah.
And I mean, OU, Oklahoma State, K-State, NC State. I mean, they played with so many guys, and then so many guys from those schools came to USA. So it was like you had a common ground and a little bridge to start a conversation with. So, yeah, I mean, it was really, I'd do it again if I could. So,
who was the so you mentioned Arnold and Davis. Who was the third wheel that helped seal the no-hitter, the combined no-hitter, which actually you were kind of scheduled to throw in that game, but with the no-hitter going, who was,
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember who was the third one.
I think it was Alton Davis.
He closed it out, right?
The closer, yeah, he closed it out.
But Arnold, and there was one more. I can't remember who it was. Let's see here.
I don't remember. I know it was Jamie, and then Alton closed it. Was that the game?
While Logan's looking at it. Yeah.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, while Logan's looking that up, talk about, of course, you had a chance to play with Dean Curley, and Dean played several different positions on that USA team. Talk about the impact he had, and maybe some experience he had, and proven that he can play several different places for you. Kind of this spring.
He played a little bit everywhere.
Yeah,
he played a little bit everywhere there. I mean, it was really cool to see. I mean, only seeing him at shortstop this year at Tennessee. Kind of seeing him move around really showed how much of an athlete he was. And at the plate, he was actually unreal at the plate. I mean, he had a home run, he had a walk-off. I mean, I think he went like 2 for 4, 3 for 5 almost every game. I mean, he was just raking. But yeah, it was awesome to see him. He even played outfield, I think, one game, and he kind of looked at me. He's like, "Hey, it's been a while since I played outfield." I mean, he's a big kid. I mean, he's not the fastest runner either. So seeing him out there was kind of goofy. So, but yeah, it was awesome to especially be with him out there representing the Vols in the national championship. And I'm not the only one bombarded with questions about the national championship. So, yeah, so that was fun.
But that said, he was just so solid at shortstop. Maybe playing out of position last year, but he handled that shortstop position like he'd been playing there all his life. I was just really impressed with the year he had last year.
Yeah, he is a super mature ball player. He's
Logan,
really
did
sound.
you find what you were looking for?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. What? So Tyler Bremer, UC Santa Barbara.
Brenner.
Yeah,
Santa Barbara.
which makes it, I mean, 1-2 punch to start out with Jamie Arnold, with him coming behind. That's a tough deal right there.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you. I got a question for you too. Last year, Kirby Cannell was your teammate, guy who pitched every day. The guy that just was always there. This year he's in a different role for you. He's going to be. I don't know exactly what he's going to do as a graduate assistant coach, but how weird is it going to be going from teammate Kirby Cannell to Coach Cannell?
He's different. It's I think he's definitely had a few meetings with V, saying how you're a coach now and you're not a player. And I think he's definitely still cool and chill around like the returning guys and the guys who's been around. I mean, he was my roommate last year, so it was kind of I always saw him, so we'll always have a closer relationship like that. But with the new guys really don't know what he was like last year and how much of a role and how much of a big person he was around the clubhouse and outside of the clubhouse. So, but he's a coach now. He's acting professional. He's being the guy he needs to be. I mean, he loves coaching. He's super happy with his position. And he's enjoying his retirement. That's for sure.
So, without giving away secrets, is he going to work the pitchers, or what's his role going to be on the staff?
Yeah, so he's kind of just like I don't know. He's kind of like the workhorse. Yeah. He's like a workhorse, I guess. I mean, he catches some flat grounds for some guys. He helps with our conditioning, some scheduling stuff. He kind of does it all. He's kind of a
HVAC electrician.
Yeah. He's
anything you
man.
need. What's the game?
Workhorse.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say he's the workhorse for the staff last year for the pitching staff. So no surprise that he's the workhorse for the coaching staff.
Yeah. Speaking of that Georgia series, man, what he and Xander put together that weekend, and it ended up being a harbinger of things to come. For both he and Xander the rest of the way. I mean, good grief. Nate, I wanted to ask you. You specifically, you mentioned you wanted to put up the baseball for a little bit before ramping back up. But going into the fall, now that you guys are practicing, doing some inter-squad scrimmages, what's the game plan for you this fall? Like in terms of a goal orientation, what are some things you're looking for, like mechanically, tools-wise? Obviously, the number one thing is health. But anything from the mound you're looking to fine-tune before you guys will be ramping up for real come January?
Yeah, I mean, I've been, like I said, I throw my first scrimmage on Friday, so I'm pretty excited about that. But other than that, I've just kind of been playing catch, getting my bullpens in, kind of taking it day by day, really. The ramp-up was really slow. And there was at a point where I was doing a little bit too fast, and I was just I was getting fatigued really quick, and I was just my body wasn't feeling great, but I just kind of slowed down, take a step back a little bit, and I came back perfect fine. It was like a few days. I was just kind of in the dumps. But yeah, I feel great now. I'm really excited. I threw like a midweek flat ground today because I throw on Friday. So, but I think a big emphasis this fall and then going into like the springtime before the season is getting this new slider up to date. And I've been throwing it in my flat ground and my bullpens, and it's been really good. We'll see how it goes against real hitters on Friday. I'm really excited about that. And I've added another fastball, whereas my one last year was really like a big sinker. I just did a little seam shift, and now I have like a riding fastball. It'll stay up a little bit, and I can have more confidence throwing inside outside, kind of just painting a corner with it rather than having a ball move like 20 inches this way. So it's kind of that one's more like below the zone, and you can have a riding fastball kind of put wherever you want and have another curveball, cutter, changeup, slider mix on top of it. It's going to be a really fun fall and going into the springtime with that pitch. And then going into like scrims and like fall opponents when we play Western Kentucky and Troy. We talked about maybe getting a start, kind of just transitioning into that starter role. I mean, we got 3 spots to fill. We definitely have some contenders on the team. Of course, I'm going to be fighting to be one of them because that's kind of what I came here to do. And obviously last year it didn't work out, but I'm not mad with my role. I mean, I got to pitch, and as long as I'm pitching, I'm okay. So just kind of getting in the innings. So, but yeah, hopefully starting this year and going out there and shoving for about 6-7 innings.
You mentioned not too many returners coming back from the national championship team, but some high-profile transfers coming in. Talk about the new guys coming in, how the clubhouse is working out, how those guys are fitting in.
Yeah, the new transfers are awesome. They're fitting in really well. They're filling a lot of the holes we needed to fill. I mean, the ones on our pitching staff are actually phenomenal. They're really good pitchers. Our freshman class is actually insanely big, so we have a lot of talent on that team. We've got a lot of guys in the locker room right now, and it's going to be a dogfight in the fall for who's going to really make the roster and really be with the team in the springtime, because I mean, can't take everybody. So, but yeah, we have a lot of holes that we did get filled. There's still some holes out there, and that's kind of what the fall is, kind of prove what you've been working on and everything like that. And but yeah, they're fitting in really well. I mean, this locker room was a little rocky to start, if I'm being honest, just because it was kind of so many new guys. I mean, we only have like 20 returners or something like that. So we got like 35 new guys or something like that. So having that new locker room is a big change. I mean, especially me last year. I mean, I known nobody here last year, so it was fitting in and everything like that. But now we're 3 months in, and we're all pretty close, and we're just having fun. I mean, it's what the fall is. It's a grind, but we're gonna make fun with it and enjoy the time. I mean, it's already almost Thanksgiving time, so almost Christmas time come back, and then by the time you come back, you really got like a month until the season. So in reality, we have a decent amount of time, but it's not that much on paper. So they're fitting in well, though. We're hanging out and everything like that. I mean, the vibe's good. Coaches are happy with our practices, and it's just day by day, I guess.
So as we mentioned earlier, today as we record on Wednesday of this week, it is Tony V's birthday. Did you guys do anything special for him? Give him some good ribbing by any chance?
No, we didn't even see him today, honestly.
Just another day.
That's kind of how he sees it. I mean, if the sun came up, it's another day to work. All that other stuff is fun. It's a little side thing, but I mean, there's a job at hand. I mean, obviously we're trying to go back to back. I mean, you never want to lose. Obviously, you always want to try and win a national championship, but now we can say we're trying to go back to back, and we just have a lot of new guys that need to like understand the way we run things, and they're getting the hang of it. But like, yeah, he wasn't even there today. It was a really low key practice. Kind of got in, got out, and did some community service stuff, and enjoyed the day. Well,
I feel like Tony may be bottling up all his energy for the week for what's to come on Saturday. Are you guys going to be in Neyland? Is that something? What's on your football itinerary, Nate, this fall? Are you one trying to hit up every game, maybe select home games?
Yeah, about select. I've only been to one so far, and that was I don't even remember, to be honest.
Was it last season?
No, it was a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, so if you've only been to one, then man, buddy. So are you going this weekend or wait?
Yeah, we're going this weekend. We're doing the checkerboard. Checkerboard's always a fun game. And then the weekend after that's Bama. Kind of have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really have many that we have a decent amount of home games, but not really great ones. But yeah, we'll go to all the good games and go and chill and hang out. But sometimes we'll have practice, and sometimes it's just like walking through Neyland is kind of not fun.
Hey,
I know that was an interesting time for the Morgan Wallen weekend, Logan. I didn't go. My daughter and two of my grandkids went and said it was actually incredible and how many people were there. Said it was like a football, even more so than a football
yeah, it was unreal. I went on Sunday.
I was there
I went
on
on
Friday,
Sunday, and it was actually
and it like I totally didn't account for the north end zone, being vacant for seating.
Right.
And the flow of because I was thinking, I've been to, hundreds of, football games at Neyland. This can't be any worse in terms of like pedestrian traffic. And buddy was not wrong because it didn't matter which gate you went in. Once you got in, it was like, just a bunch of penguins slowly creeping, waddling your way, needed to go probably like 13, 14, 15 sections, over. And no matter which way you go, it was nuts, man. It was packed, slammed to the gills. And I couldn't believe it. It was a pretty cool event, especially considering the way they looped you guys in. And then all the little pop-up stuff that they did, man, it was fantastic.
So it was really. I wish I had gone Friday. Friday would have been cool, especially the guys walking out. I mean, that was a really cool experience for them.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it was awesome that he got to come play there, and especially making the 2 days. I mean, they said there was like 80,000 people there. I feel like there was way more. I mean, there was probably like 20,000 on the field alone.
Yeah. No, it was just what an atmosphere, and we'll have a good one this Saturday as Florida comes to town. Before we let you go, Nate, what you got a score prediction for the Vols and Gators?
Florida's not that great this year. I think we win by. I think because we lost last weekend and we really shouldn't have against Arkansas. I think we should win by about 30 plus. Just kind of got that fire to us, especially losing to Arkansas, beating OU. I mean, it's like how it's kind of. It reminds me of like when we lost that last midweek or the week before midweek. Just losing that one kind of sucked, just because we had been so perfect, and that was one of our goals for the year was to not lose a midweek, and we lost one, and it was like the second to last one, so it was just kind of like we had that fire and just never wanted to lose again.
Yeah.
Well, all I'm going to say about Saturday is free Nico. Let him use those legs.
He does need to run a little bit more, I think.
Yeah.
Our own line is pretty good. I mean, I'm not super close, but I know Coop Mayes pretty well. Talk to him here and there, so I mean that O line is huge. I mean they're moving guys around like it's nothing. So
yeah, and that's they've been good. They've been good with the run. They haven't been good in pass protect. So that's why you got to get Nico out there and let him do a little more RPO and see what happens. You're always going to risk injury with a quarterback. I don't care who it is, but you got to get him out there and use his athletic ability. He's such a freakish athlete out there.
He's huge. I mean, 6'6", 220 or whatever he is.
Yeah. So I just think they need to get him out there and let him use his legs a little bit more. And I think they'll be fine. I don't know that we're going to win by 30, but with the history of Florida, I just want to win the game. I'll take a 1-point win over the Gators right now.
Yeah, a win's a win, honestly. And just that's what the goal is. Obviously, everybody wants to win by 200 if they could, but close games are always the anxiety games, which make them interesting. So those are boring games when you're kind of blowing them out. So
yeah, I hate to see that Brew McCoy and Squirrel White are injured and the most likely not going to play. May be a while for Brew, from what I understand. So that's certainly not a good thing. But it's time for those young guys, those young receivers that came in this year. The freshmen came in so highly touted. They're going to get a lot of reps. It's time for them to grow up quick.
Does Camden Sewell have any eligibility left? He is the Gator killer for Tennessee baseball. I'm supremely confident if we just get him in the building, like things are going to be all right.
Yeah. I haven't seen him in a while. I think I saw him last year, and that was about it. He hasn't come around this year yet.
Nate, one more question. I know we're rambling here, so we're not going to stay on all night. But
no, you're good.
The stadium renovations, how the stadium renovations coming?
Noisy, but I'd say that's a good thing. At least they're working.
Right.
I know they're working, getting stuff done. I peeked my head up there yesterday, kind of walked all the way up to where like the press box was, because that's all gone. Just looking down and seeing what they're doing down there, because you can't see it because the stands are blocking everything because they're working back there. Yeah, they're laying down like posts and a lot of rebar and digging holes and lots of drilling. But yeah, no, it's coming along real well. I guess we'll see. They're putting a crane together in our parking lot right now.
Oh, wow.
So we will see where that all goes. But I mean, they're making decent progress. Didn't help that we had a week and a half of rain.
Right.
Can't really do construction in the rain, so that was kind of a minor setback, like we had with the snow in the fall or in the wintertime. I mean, that 2 weeks of snow was horrible for job site.
Yeah, it was quite a time for you to be involved in the UT baseball program. First national championship, the stadium's being completely redone. I hope you realize how significant a role that you're playing in the resurgence of Tennessee baseball, Nate. The guys that are here, it's got to be special for you guys to be here right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of guys really take that to heart, especially me. Just being in this position alone is actually incredible. But yeah, it's always one day at a time, but it's always like sometimes stepping back. I mean, I have an uncle down in Maryville. I go there. I try and go there once a week to go see him, get like a little home cooked dinner, which is nice. And he kind of lives on like the side of a mountain, so it's really quiet and peaceful. We'll just, when it's warm outside or nice outside, we'll go out on the porch and it'll just be dead silent out there, just eating dinner. Kind of just stepping away from the city and all the noise and everything like that. I've been such a blue collar country kid growing up. I mean, I was always outside doing something, and I love being up north, working on our land and cutting wood. I mean, hearing the chainsaw was kind of therapy for me growing up, and just kind of having everything else drowned out is just kind of a good getaway. I mean, obviously it's a really good position to be in, but I tend to get myself lost in it sometimes, not realizing like that you're really here and you're really here for a job. And it's just one thing I grew up, and that's kind of how I think. So sometimes stepping away from it is never a bad thing.
Absolutely not. Yeah, whenever you get a chance. Yep.
Right. So
awesome stuff.
Put some miles on the new truck too.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hopping on with us, brother. We won't take any more of your time. I know you guys, like I said, you guys got a busy schedule this week, and just to be able to take a break and chop it up with you about the championship, what it means to you personally and the team, and just catching up with you guys and seeing, getting a glimpse of what things are like right now for you guys, man. I'm excited. Can't wait to catch up with you again. Man, it'll be here in no time. It always sneaks up on you, and keep cutting down those trees, proverbially or otherwise, Nate, because you're going places, bro.
I appreciate that a lot. I really do.
Well, for myself, Bill Minot, national champion Nate Snead, it's the 920 podcast. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the other side, folks.